What is going on, basketball fans, and welcome back to NBA GOAT News. The Mavericks and the Thunder faced off in a Sunday night thriller. Stepping up big time for Dallas was PJ Washington, who rose to the occasion with a career night. Washington not only racked up 27 points, but dominated the boards with 17 rebounds. He was the X factor in the absence of Luka Doncic, who missed the game with a bruised right knee. And even without Doncic, the Mavericks offense didn't miss a beat. Kyrie Irving was as slick as ever, dropping 23 points and keeping the tempo electric. Dallas shot an impressive 48% from the field, proving they can hang with the best, even shorthanded. But don't sleep on the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander brought his A game, putting up 36 points and keeping Oklahoma City in striking distance. And with Jalen Williams chipping in 27, the Thunder showed exactly why they came in with a league-leading 11-2 record, even without the towering presence of Chet Holmgren. The game's defining moments came late. With just over 6 minutes left, Dallas held a seemingly comfortable 112-98 lead, but the Thunder flipped the switch, launching a ferocious comeback that cut the Mavericks' lead to 121-118. Gilgeous-Alexander put Najee Marshall on skates with his dazzling fake, stepping back and nailing a deep three to bring OKC within 3 points with just 25.2 seconds to go. And the drama only intensified from there. With 8 seconds left, Gilgeous-Alexander forced a jump ball with Irving and won it, giving the Thunder one last shot after a quick timeout. Oklahoma City had a chance to send this game to overtime. Gilgeous-Alexander made the first free throw but missed the second. The scramble for the rebound found its way to Lou Dort, who launched a contested three at the buzzer, but it didn't fall. Final score, Mavericks 121, Thunder 119. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Charlotte Hornets went head-to-head, and boy was it a game. It was a night to remember for the Cavs at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse as they extended their historic start to 15-0 with a commanding 128-114 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Leading the charge for the Cavaliers was Darius Garland, who dropped an impressive 25 points and dished out 12 assists, showcasing his elite playmaking and scoring ability. But the real story of the night, Ty Jerome. With Donovan Mitchell sitting out to rest, Jerome matched his career high with 24 points and added 8 assists, proving he's more than just a bench player. And it wasn't just backcourt putting in the work. Evan Mobley dominated with 23 points and 11 rebounds, while Jarrett Allen was a beast in the paint with 21 points and 15 boards. The Cavaliers shot a blistering 67% in the first half, making it nearly impossible for Charlotte to catch up. But you have to give credit to LaMelo Ball, who did everything he could to keep the Hornets in the fight. He put up 31 points and 12 assists, weaving through defenders and hitting tough shots. Miles Bridges chipped in with 19 points, but ultimately it wasn't enough to overcome Cleveland's relentless offense. One of the defining moments of the game came late in the fourth quarter when Charlotte was still within striking distance. Garland, showing his leadership, kicked it out to Ty Jerome, who nailed a clutch three-pointer from the corner with just under 3 minutes left. That shot sealed the deal and showcased the depth that coach Kenny Atkinson has been nurturing. For the Hornets, it was a valiant effort on the second night of back-to-back, but defensive stops were hard to come by. As for the Cavs, this win further proved they're more than just Donovan Mitchell's team. And what a game we had tonight between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Denver Nuggets. Starting with Jaren Jackson Jr., the defensive dynamo and all-star forward who brought the energy and buckets. Jackson poured in 20 points and anchored the Grizzlies on both ends of the floor. But that's not all. Memphis built a massive 24-point lead in the fourth quarter, proving that when they click, they're as lethal as they come. Jackson's ability to control the paint and stretch the floor made life miserable for Denver's defenders. Now for Denver, it was a tough night. They were playing without their superstar center Nikola Jokic, who was out for personal reasons, and forward Aaron Gordon sidelined with a strained right calf. That left Jamal Murray and company struggling to fill some very big shoes. Despite the absence of their main man, Julian Strather stepped up big, leading Denver with 19 points, but without their reigning MVP's 30 points and 13.7 rebounds per game, Denver's offense just wasn't the same. One thing that really set Memphis apart, their blazing pace. The Grizzlies racked up 20 fast break points, running Denver ragged and turning defense into offense like clockwork. Midway through the second quarter, the Grizzlies flipped the switch. A 14-1 run left the Nuggets scrambling and Memphis fans on their feet. By halftime, Memphis had stretched their lead thanks to a sharp shooting display from deep, making 9 of 23 from beyond the arc. And shout out to Desmond Bane, who played a critical role with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Bane's all-around effort showed why he's one of the most reliable playmakers in Memphis. And if you thought the Grizzlies were done, think again. Memphis roared out of the break with 10 unanswered points to bury Denver deeper and set the tone for the rest of the game. When the final buzzer sounded, the Grizzlies had secured a 105-90 victory, making it their 4th consecutive win at home. And what a game last night. The Houston Rockets were on fire, extending their winning streak to 5 games with a blowout victory against the Chicago Bulls. Fred VanVleet was a man on a mission, scoring a season-high 28 points and leading Houston's offensive charge. From draining clutch threes to orchestrating plays, he was a nightmare for Chicago's defense. But VanVleet wasn't the only Rocket making waves. Big man Alperen Sengun showcased why he's one of the most versatile centers in the league, racking up a triple-double with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. This was his second triple-double of the season, and every pass, board, and bucket seemed effortless. Sengun dominated the paint, controlling the pace, and setting up his teammates beautifully. Now don't sleep on Jalen Green, who added 18 points to the scoreboard with his signature explosive drives and perimeter shooting. Houston's starters were firing on all cylinders, but it was the team's depth that made the difference. Amen Thompson battled through some right quad soreness to drop 16 points and grab 11 rebounds off the bench. His energy on both ends of the floor kept the Rockets rolling and the Bulls reeling. The Rockets absolutely owned the paint and dominated the boards, pulling in 66 rebounds compared to Chicago's 47. It was a rebounding clinic that fueled their transition game and second chance opportunities. On the other side, the Bulls couldn't catch a break. Zach LaVine led Chicago with 15 points, but it wasn't enough to spark a comeback. THT provided some help off the bench with 12 points, but Chicago struggled to find consistency, shooting just 33.6% from the field. And here's the turning point. LaVine's free throws tied it up at 36 midway through the second quarter, but that was as close as Chicago would get. Led by VanVleet and Sengun, the Rockets exploded for a 32-16 run to close the half. By the start of the third, Houston came out swinging with an 11-0 run, pushing their lead to an insurmountable 108-78 by the end of the quarter. The Rockets set season highs for points in a single game and outscored Chicago 41-26 in the second quarter alone. Followed by another 40-point third quarter, it was a scoring showcase that left the Bulls scrambling for answers. And when the final buzzer sounded, it was 143 Rockets, 107 Bulls. And the Minnesota Timberwolves faced off against the Phoenix Suns in an epic game. This one went down to the final buzzer. The Suns came out blazing under the hot Arizona sun, jumping to a commanding 16-point lead in the first half. Devin Booker was simply unstoppable, dropping a jaw-dropping 44 points, his season high, as he carried the Suns on his back with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal still sidelined by injuries. But this game wasn't just about Booker's heroics. Enter the Timberwolves, who chipped away at the lead bit by bit, and leading that charge was none other than Anthony Edwards. He started the game quietly, scoring just 4 points in the first half, his lowest first half output this season. But watch out, because in the second half, he turned it up and finished with a strong 24 points. And let's not forget the hero of the day, Julius Randle. The newly acquired star from the Knicks had his best game as a Timberwolf, torching the Suns defense for 35 points. But it was what he did with just 2.1 seconds left that will be etched in Timberwolves history. Timeout called, Minnesota advanced the ball to set up one last shot. And when that inbound pass found Randle at the arc, boom. He drilled a 24-footer as the final buzzer sounded, sending Timberwolves fans into a frenzy and sealing a thrilling 120-117 win over Phoenix. Talk about ice in his veins. Randle's game winner capped off an electrifying night where he proved why Minnesota made the blockbuster trade. Despite Booker's monstrous 44-point effort and Grayson Allen's clutch 3-point shooting off the bench, the Suns just couldn't hold on. And now let's talk about the Indiana Pacers and the Miami Heat clash last night. Leading the charge for Indiana was none other than Miles Turner, who was on a mission. Turner put on a clinic with a season-high 34 points, showing off his entire arsenal with powerful dunks, smooth mid-range shots, and key defensive plays. Turner was the X-factor that Miami just couldn't contain. And let's not forget Benedict Mathurin, who came through with a rock-solid double-double, 21 points, 12 boards. Mathurin's hustle on both ends of the floor was crucial, especially with the Pacers missing Aaron Nesmith. His relentless drive has proven he's a rising star for Indiana. On the other side, the Heat fought valiantly. Even without their 6-time All-Star Jimmy Butler sidelined by a sprained ankle, Tyler Hero lit up the court with 28 points, showcasing his trademark scoring touch, while Bam Adebayo chipped in a strong 24. But Miami struggled to control the paint, getting outscored 62-28 in that critical area. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Tyrese Haliburton, who battled an ice-cold start, missing 8 of his first 10 shots. But great players bounce back, and that's exactly what he did. With the game tied 97 in the fourth quarter, Haliburton drilled back-to-back threes that turned the momentum back in Indiana's favor. The crowd erupted and Miami couldn't recover. Speaking of Haliburton, he finished the night with 16 points and an impressive 13 assists, teaming up with TJ McConnell to run a masterclass in ball distribution. The Pacers shared the ball beautifully, racking up 30 assists on 44 made field goals. By contrast, Miami struggled to move the rock with no player dishing more than 4 assists. Key stats of the night: the Pacers shot an efficient 52% from the field and absolutely dominated the paint, while the Heat, dealing with injuries and shorter rotation, couldn't keep pace. Miami's tough start to the season continued, now sitting at 5-7, and they'll be hoping for a boost from Butler's possible return for their upcoming homestand. But what a game for the Pacers, winning 119-110 against the Miami Heat. If you want more games, highlights, and recaps like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.